We have more good news, everyone. Mostly because I'm a fan of really good entertainment. Okay, like there are some films that I have yet to see in my lifetime that are heralded as some of the best movies ever made. If I'm to just go ahead and put together a short list of films that I haven't seen that are well regarded throughout time, I know. Even if films continue on their same trajectory, even if we continue to get dumbed down, overly exposited, just vitriolic garbage, if that's the rest of time, if that's what we're going to be getting, that's fantastic, man, because I got this huge back catalog of stuff. I got a lot of Blu-rays, I got a lot of physical media, all of which will go ahead and put me through the rest of my life, and plus I can continue to rewatch all of the classics that I love so very much. So to see the industry crumble in the first quarter of 2025, you love to see it, because honestly, hasn't really been all that good in the silver screen to begin this year. Does anybody remember Mickey 17? Anybody? There were high hopes for that one. And then Mark Ruffalo had to do a really bad Trump impression and totally torpedo any prospects of that film. But hey, that's also, that same director's modus operandi from what I'm hearing. He likes to do heavy-handed political allegory. I did a previous Margaret Thatcher insert, so I guess, the movie kind of deserved to fail, even though it was put out as, hey, this brand new sci-fi. Oh, we thought, okay, you guys keep complaining how you want new original sci-fi, and then we give you new original sci-fi, and then you don't want to watch it. And it's like, no. We said we also like good movies, not garbage movies. That's kind of a problem as well. But with that said, AMC Theaters' quarterly losses hit $202.1 million after box office and got off to a rocky start. Yeah, it's real bad. But hey, the one saving grace this year, the Minecraft movie, how atrocious that is. And like I said, it's good news to begin this, because thankfully it's not going to hit $1 billion. It's still been greenlit for a sequel, okay? Like, you're going to get, subjected to more cringe Jack Black everywhere. It's just, I hope that hits a point of diminishing returns, and that the whole memes don't bolster another crap movie. Because holy crap, are people going to finally turn on that movie by the end of the year, once it gets out of theaters and it just becomes a memory in a lot of people's minds? I'm just wondering how many people, like, outside of the whole chicken jockey, we're just going to throw and trash a theater party atmosphere that you had for a couple of those showings. I wonder how many people are going to look fondly back on that, okay? Because there was a point in time where you would go to the theater because you wanted to watch the movie, not engage in debauchery. But I digress, okay? It's not like the theaters are learning anything new. Gee, instead of lobbying these studios to create better movies, we should just allow people to smoke pot, and, we'll just serve a 3-course meal, because fat asses on their cell phones can't go without, stuffing their face with something every 20 fucking minutes. One of the many reasons why I never want to go back to a theater in my life. So when I see massive losses like this, can't really say I'm terribly upset about these revelations, but yes, losses at the world's largest cinema operator widened to $202.1 million at the box office. Got off to a rough start in 2025, a period that played host to flops like Mickey 17, oh yes, and The Alto Knights. I thought you liked gangster movies. Why don't you go to see Robert De Niro's newest gangster movie? Oh, because it was ass. It was reviewed like dog shit. Nobody talked about that film, and holy Christ, horrific disaster. That was a bleaker financial picture than the one painted in the prior quarter, when AMC's losses hit $163.5 million. Yeah, because even the holiday season, like, okay, and again, it is so fucking dumb, but yeah, okay, what were the releases that were coming out on and around Christmas? Like, Sonic 3 was doing fantastic, and then like 2 weeks into their theatrical release announced that, oh yeah, it's going to be on streaming. You'll be able to buy it digitally, within 30 days. Like, what are you doing? That is so catastrophically stupid. But yes, revenues, the 3-month period ending in March, fell 9% to $862.5 million, compared to $951.4 million during the same 3-month period in 2024. Holy crap. I forget what movies came out at wasn't that like Wonka when it ended 2024? Aquaman 2, Wonka. Oh, right, The Marvels was out. Jesus Christ, man. And that did better than Mufasa and Sonic 3? Bruh, that sucks. But there was another film that was highlighted right there, okay, that very much contributed to empty theaters and huge losses, and that would be Snow White, okay? But hey, To be completely honest, man, releasing in the doldrums of March with absolutely no competition that's out there, a big tentpole Disney live-action remake, it was probably just bad timing, okay? You know what? If this film ended up getting re-released, okay, if it got another semi-wide release, okay, it probably would have done better, right? Right? Of course. At least that's what Disney was thinking, because you take a look at this past weekend, and yeah, checking in there at 12th place in 1,330 theaters, up 1,020 theaters. Fucking why? What is Disney thinking, man? Raking in a grand total of $351 per screen, okay? And it's actually even more hilarious when you break it down on the daily. On the first Friday in wide release, it made $50. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm overselling it. $49 per theater. Okay, it was actually doing better when it was only in 300 theaters. Okay, on the Thursday beforehand, bro. What was Disney thinking on that? Okay, yeah, it was Mother's Day on Sunday. Was that their logic behind this? A movie that was no longer about, saving the princess, so to, true love's first kiss, overthrowing the evil stepmother. I don't know their thought process behind this, but yes, one more embarrassment, one final death knell for this catastrophic flop, because as much as Rachel Zegler can't let sleeping dogs lie on social media, which I'm still waiting for that spurg out, maybe she has learned a little bit, okay? Maybe after she got that stern talking to by the producer, Mark Platt, maybe she learned a little bit, but Disney re-releasing Snow White, man, okay, just flopped again in theaters for a baffling re-release. Yes, Snow White flopping for the second time in a couple months is not something that was ever on my bingo card. It flopping once and being a catastrophic disaster. Oh, we seen that coming. Didn't think it would underperform the Marvels. That domestically ends up being the case, and depending on which box office aggregator you look at, it either underperformed or barely overperformed the Marvels. Because if you take a look and you use the numbers on the numbers, it ended up outstripping the Marvels. Or if you take a look at Box Office Mojo, Brie Larson beats Rachel Zegler, and man, if you stack up both of their antics, I don't really know, man. Like, there's been enough time between now and when Brie Larson was at her most insufferable, but Rachel Zegler, man, like, I don't know, man. I would be hard-pressed to bet against her being the most insufferable if you weigh everything all up. But I digress here. Let's take a look, and maybe we have some logic behind them re-releasing this. Okay. Initially intended as a crowd puller for Mother's Day weekend, Snow White was dropped into over 1,300 theaters across the United States. The result, a pathetic haul of just over $200,000, averaging just $50 per theater. Yeah, that was why, man. Like, this is not going to make sense ever. Okay. It's a result so dreadful it evokes memories of Sony's ill-fated Morbius re-release. I mean, yeah, it's Snow White in time, and I was so happy when she decided to, princess problems all over the screen. It was so fantastic. Which became a meme for how disconnected studios can be from their audiences. Yeah, because everybody was doing the It's Morbin time meme. Sony thought, hey man, we're hip with the kids and we can do the Morbin time thing too. Now realizing that your failure was the meme. But all right. The original release of Snow White, the original release of Snow White's a remake already stumbled hard out of the gate, laden with controversy from the start. The film starred Rachel Zegler. Yeah, we know. Remarks about the original being weird, creepy, and outdated drew widespread backlash, especially when combined with her political posturing in the film's significant rewrites of the beloved fairy tale. The global box office run totaling just $202.5 million, a massive miss when weighed against the ballooning budget reportedly soaring at more than $300 million. And yeah, even if you have the access trades coming out and saying, yeah, it's about an excess of $300 million, you know it's even worse than that. That's before marketing. The losses were so severe, insiders projected Disney would be in the red by well over $100 million. That apparently wasn't good enough. Disney went back to the well with the Snow White re-release this past weekend, and audiences overwhelmingly said, no thanks. What is the logic, behind Snow White's re-release remains unclear. Okay, yeah, and I doubt we're ever going to get clarification on this one. Okay, somebody would have taken credit if this would have been just a second look hit, but now, this will just be like trying to get Kathleen Kennedy to explain why did you think it was a good idea to hand $230 million to Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant for a series to explore that the Jedi aren't necessarily all good. Gio, as we discussed, what was that, yesterday? Jeez, I can't believe on that one. Later this week, yeah, Snow White's going to be heading to streaming. Maybe people already knew that, and that's the reason that they didn't go to the cinema. Or they just seen everything that was going around in March and realized that this shit was a turd. Nobody wanted it to begin with. Nobody wanted it on re-release. And by the time that it hits streaming, Disney can spin it as best as they want, saying that it's the biggest original release on their streaming platform that we know is suffering tremendously because everything that goes on Disney Plus ultimately dies. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.